It's gone overboard. It's too much. Hey everyone, Henry here. Welcome back. Right now we are going to watch The Lost Weekend. So we're continuing with our Billy Wilder run, and after this there's one more Wilder movie, and then we'll be moving on to Sidney Lumet. As always, if you'd like to watch my reactions earlier or you want to watch my full reactions and watch along with me, then you are welcome to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. Now let's watch The Lost Weekend. This panning kind of reminds me of Rope. Panning past buildings into a window. Is that alcohol?
We'll get there this afternoon. That'll give us all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll make it a long, wonderful weekend. Sweet cider and buttermilk and water from that well that's colder than any other.
Wait, please, why this emphasis on liquids? Very dull liquids. I haven't touched the stuff for 10 days now.
I know. I know you haven't, Don.
Haven't touched the stuff in 10 days, huh? He pulled it up in such a swift motion and caught it so smoothly.
Now I must be going. I'm 10 minutes late for the concert already. So long, Wick.
Wait a minute. Wick, I just had a crazy idea. I just thought if we took a later train, Helen wouldn't have to go to the concert by herself. She's got 2 tickets, hasn't she?
All right, go ahead.
I want you to go. You and Helen.
Me and Helen.
That's the idea. Who likes Brahms, you or I?
And what's more, I don't think you should be left alone.
I shouldn't?
No.
I want to be trusted, is that it?
Yes.
I want to be alone for a couple of hours to kind of assemble myself. Is that such an extraordinary thing to want? All right, if you don't believe me, why don't you take my keys, lock me in like a dog?
We've got to trust Don. That's the only way.
Well. Caught red-handed.
I guess I must have put it there.
Yes, you must.
Probably during my last spell, or maybe the one before, I don't know.
Make him watch as he pours it down the drain.
You think I wanted you out of the apartment because of the bottle?
Yes.
I resent that like the devil.
Now, if there's one hidden, there's definitely a second and third one hidden somewhere.
Let me work it out my way. I'm trying.
No, you're trying, Don. What if he goes out and buys another bottle?
With what? He hasn't a nickel. There isn't a store or a bar that'll give him 5 cents worth of credit.
Wow, his reputation has really gone that far down, huh? Everybody knows that he's an alcoholic. What? Even inside there?
Who is it?
Mrs. Foley, come to clean up.
Come on Monday.
All right, Mr. Burnham. What about my money? Didn't he leave my money? And the sugar bowl.
Oh no, now he's got money.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Foley, it isn't there. You must have forgotten.
Oh, put.
Seems like the addiction has really got a death grip on him.
Your brother was in. Said he's not going to pay for you anymore.
2 bottles of rye.
Your brother said not to sell you anything even if you did have the money to pay for it. Well, I can't stop anybody, can I?
Just to ease your conscience, I'm buying this to refill my cigarette lighter.
Wait, people refill their cigarette lighter with that?
My brother was here, undermining my financial structure.
I didn't tell him nothing about the wristwatch you left, the cufflinks.
We can barter on a cash basis.
1 straight rye.
That was the idea.
Look at him just staring at it.
Don't wipe it away, Nat. Let me have my little vicious circle. Let me know when it's 6:15. It's very important. Now, of course, there arises the problem of transportation into the country. That one I'm tucking into my brother's suitcase. He shall transport it himself, without knowing it, of course.
Why don't you lay off the stuff for a while?
So I may never touch it while I'm there, not a drop.
Sure.
But I've got to know what's around, that I can have it if I need it. I can't be cut off completely. You don't approve of drinking? It shrinks my liver, doesn't it, Nat? It pickles my kidneys, yes. But what does it do to my mind? I'm Michelangelo molding the beard of Moses. I'm Van Gogh painting pure sunlight. I'm Horowitz playing the Emperor Concerto.
You know how he gets. He'll be run over by a car. He'll be arrested. A cigarette might fall from his mouth and he'd burn in bed.
Helen, if it happens, it happens, and I hope it does. I've had 6 years of this. We've reasoned with him. We've babied him. We've watched him like a hawk. We've tried trusting him. Back he falls. Back in every time.
Addiction does that. He just needs to get past the withdrawal stage. He needs to be an Alcoholics Anonymous. Get help from sane people.
What time is it?
6:10.
Then why didn't you tell me?
What do you think I've been doing for half an hour? Hey, your change.
For his case, he probably needs to be put in a straitjacket or something.
Let go of him, Helen. Give yourself a chance.
Goodbye, Wick.
When he gets drunk, he gets drunk. And when he's sober, he hates himself for it. But he just can't resist drinking again and getting drunk again. The vicious cycle, the vicious circle just repeats itself again and again and again. He hates himself for it, but he can't stop himself from doing it. Another creative place to hide a bottle. Dawn, dear, I waited for you to come home. Please be careful, get some sleep, eat, and call me, call me, call me.
I thought you was going away for the weekend.
Again, directly the next morning.
Stop it and come on and give me a drink, for heaven's sake. Come on, come on. Okay.
Did he even have breakfast yet? The moment he wakes up, he gets a drink.
I can't let her see me, not now when I'm off like this.
Why don't you cut it short?
Don't talk like a child. You can't cut it short.
This is the morning.
That's when you need it most in the morning. Haven't you learned that yet? Nat, are you ever scared when you wake up? So scared the sweat starts out of you, huh? Is it dawn or is it dusk? Because if it's dawn, you're dead. The bars are closed and the liquor stores don't open till 9 o'clock, and you can't last till 9 o'clock.
If you had enough money, you'd kill yourself in a month.
Yes, he would. How is he not dead yet?
When I've got a chance to go out with you, don't be ridiculous. How's 8?
8's fine.
I live right in the corner house. It's the one with the wooden Indian outside.
I'll be there.
Second floor front.
I don't like you much. What's the idea of pulling her leg? You know you're not going to take her out.
Who says I'm not?
I say so. You're drunk and you just make 'em with a mouth. That other dame, the lady, I mean. I don't like what you're doing to her either.
That nice young man who drinks and the high-class young lady. And how did she ever get mixed up with him? And why does he drink? And why doesn't he stop?
Valid questions.
You know what I'm going to call my novel? The Bottle. Let me tell you the first chapter. It all starts one wet afternoon about 3 years ago.
I've definitely heard this somewhere before, but I don't know what it is. Addiction makes you unable to enjoy the other things in life.
That's what it says, though, 417.
I don't care what it says.
The checks must have gotten mixed up.
Maybe they did. Let me get back there. I can find it.
No, please. That's against regulations.
I need that coat. I need it now.
There's regulations. There's got to be regulations. Wait till the other party arrives and swap.
I want my coat.
That's your coat.
That's my coat you've got.
That's mine, thank heaven. They mixed up the
You
checks.
certainly did. I thought you'd never come. My name is Don Burnham.
How do you do? Time magazine?
Oh, Time Magazine. Could you help me become Man of the Year?
You might be, just not in the way you think.
I'm going to an extremely crazy party on Washington Square. If you like, I'll take you along.
Oh, thank you very much, Miss St. James, but I have to see a friend uptown.
Do you always carry those things?
That friend of mine, the one uptown, he has a slight cold, and I thought I'd take this along and make him a hot toddy. What kind of a party was that you asked me to?
Cocktail party?
Invitation still stand?
Of course, come on.
He's gonna get his drink anyway. That was a sign telling you to go with the girl and stop alcohol.
Drinks tomato juice. Doesn't touch liquor that whole week. For 2 weeks. For 6 weeks.
And love, huh?
6 weeks.
If he could only get a job now, they could be married, and that's that. Not quite. Because one day, one terrible day,
The subtitles are terrible when it comes to days.
she's to introduce him to her parents. 1 o'clock, lobby of the hotel.
This Burnham fellow went to Cornell, didn't he?
I believe so.
But he never graduated. He ought to have a job anyway.
He's a writer.
Writer? What did he write? I never heard his name.
It'll all come out. His background, his prospects, his church affiliations.
I see. The stress of meeting her parents. That's why sometimes ignorance can be bliss. Because if he hadn't overheard her parents, he would have met them and maybe things would have turned out fine.
I thought you were with Helen and her father and mother. What happened?
Such nice, respectable people. I couldn't face them, Wick, and all the questions they'd ask me. I just couldn't do it. I had to have a drink first, just one.
Don, Won't you ever learn that with you it's like stepping off a roof and expecting to fall just one floor?
Nice metaphor.
Hello, Wick. Is Don here?
Don? No.
Any idea where he could be?
There's an opening on the Philadelphia Inquirer, the book section. Don wrote them, he wired them, and I think this morning he just took an early train. I'm not supposed to tell you either. He wanted to be a surprise.
That Don's bottle.
What makes you think that?
It was a bottle the first time we met.
That was for me, Helen. This one's mine, too.
Oh, such a good brother.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wick. I shouldn't have started asking questions. It's really none of my business. Bye.
Bye.
Helen!
He's got a conscience, does he?
Most people drink a little.
Sure, the lucky ones who can take it or leave it. Then there are the ones who can't take it and can't leave it either.
They could be worse. After all, you're not an embezzler or a murderer. You drink too much, and that's not fatal. There must be a reason why you drink.
And the reason is me, what I am, what I wanted to become and didn't.
What is it you want to be so much that you're not?
A writer.
A writer. In college, I passed for a genius. Who wants to stay in college when he's Hemingway? My mother bought me a brand new typewriter. First thing I wrote, that didn't quite come off. I started a third and a fourth. Only by then, somebody began to look over my shoulder and whisper, "It's not good enough. How about a couple of drinks just to set it on its feet, huh?" That made all the difference. Suddenly I could see the whole thing. But before I could really grab it and throw it down on paper, the drinks would wear off and everything would be gone like a mirage. Drink to counterbalance despair, and then one to counterbalance the counterbalance.
A vicious cycle.
The other Don Burnham. There are two of us, you know. Don the drunk and Don the writer. I tried to break away from that guy a lot of times, but I even got myself a gun. And some bullets. Here are the bullets. Gun went for 3 quarts of whiskey. That other Don wanted us to have a drink first.
Wow. He's aware, but he couldn't stop it.
Maybe you're not a writer. Why don't you do something else?
Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. I can't take quiet desperation.
You can take drunk desperation, huh?
I'm 33. I'm living on the charity of my brother. Room and board free. All out of the bigness of his heart. And it is a big heart and a patient one.
Wick is a great brother.
Do yourself a favor. Go on, clear out.
Because I've got a rival? Because you're in love with this? I'm gonna fight and fight and fight.
She tried.
That was 3 years ago, Nat.
She tried for 3 years.
One day a guy gets wise to himself and gets back that gun. If he's only got $1.10, he goes to the top of the Empire State Building. Way up on top. Do it for a nickel in the subway under a train.
What are you suggesting, Nat?
And this guy sits down and turns out something good. This guy?
Not from where I sit.
This time I'm gonna do it, Nat. I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna write.
Good luck, kid.
Yeah, good luck. With all my love. Just type, Don, just type. Don't worry about imperfection. Don't worry about getting it right the first time. I've seen a great quote before. It's not exactly a quote, it's just someone sharing their thoughts. It's easier to edit a page full of words than it is to edit a blank page. So just type it out, have it all out there, man. You can do it. Don't care about perfection. It doesn't have to be right, it doesn't have to be good enough. You just have to do it.
I had another bottle, you know you did. Where did you put it?
Oh, he forgot. He really tried to get a novel written, but then he needs another drink. Poor guy. Great, he goes to another bar.
Let you go. It was so beautiful for you.
Feeling now.
You took this lady's bag, didn't you?
Of course.
Somebody call a cop.
No, George, no, it doesn't matter as long as I have the bag.
Maybe he took something.
$10 to be exact. I'll come back and pay the rest.
Don't you show your face in here again, ever.
Somebody stole our purse. Everybody!
Piano guy was not helping. Oh, hey, he got lucky that all they did was kick him out. And I suppose he does have a conscience because he returned the purse and returned the $10. But that conscience isn't good enough because he had to steal it in the first place. He already did it. If he wasn't caught, he would have gotten away with it. It's gone overboard. It's too much. Oh no, no, you just finished drinking. and you're back and you're gonna drink again. This guy needs forceful help. Like, he needs someone to put him in a straitjacket and just lock him in a freaking room and then force feed him clear drinking water. Because if nobody does that for him, he's gonna die of liver failure.
Stop it, Helen. Stop it. Stop it. I'm all right. I just can't talk.
I feel really sorry for Helen too. She believed in him, she put her faith in him, she trusted him, but he... Is he gonna sell the typewriter? He's gonna sell the typewriter now.
You'll never make that hot shop. It's a block and a half away.
It's a sign, bro. The universe is telling you not to sell your typewriter and stop freaking drinking. And you've walked for several blocks already.
They're all closed, every one of them.
Sure they are. It's Yom Kippur.
It's what?
We've got an agreement. They keep closed on Yom Kippur, and we don't open on St. Patrick's.
Let me have one, Nat. I'm dying. Just one. I'm begging you, give me one, Nat.
Yeah, one. One's too many and 100's not enough.
Mm-hmm. My God, look at him. Like a guy who's stranded in a desert that hasn't had water for 3 weeks.
Please, Nat.
I mean it. Get out of here.
And he needs help. That's where Gloria lives.
Well, Mr. Don Burnham, as I live and breathe. And if you're coming to apologize, no thanks. Thanks a lot, but no thanks.
Gloria, I need some money.
So you out of your mind? How much money?
Could you let me have 10 or 5 or something?
Seriously, Gloria, don't. You're only killing him faster.
You look awfully sick, Mr. Burnham. You got a fever or something?
No, worse.
What is this place?
Alcoholic ward. How's your head?
It aches. Why'd they put me in the alcoholic ward?
We had a peek at your blood. Straight Applejack. 96 proof. Where do you live?
What do you need that for?
For the postcard to your folks so they know where Honey Boy is and can pick him up when he's feeling better. If we let you guys go home alone, you just hit the nearest bar and bounce right back again. What we call the quick ricochet.
Is this a jail?
Well, this department's sort of a halfway hospital, halfway jail. And the one there with the glasses. Another repeater. This is his 45th trip.
45th?
Ever have the DTs?
No.
You will, brother.
What's that?
That's when you start seeing the little animals. Midget monkeys coming through the keyholes. Come the night, he sees beetles crawling all over him.
Is that really how withdrawals are? I thought it was just like shakes and like anxiousness.
Get him up to the violent ward.
The violent ward. That's where they took Brophy. He should have stayed. Get it out of his system.
I want to board a ride, quick.
Okay, if I take off my coat first?
No. Come on, I need that liquor. I want it and I'm gonna get it, understand?
He isn't getting the liquor. The liquor is getting him. A mouse. Cute little mouse. Oh, is he starting to see the little animals now? Dawn is the mouse, and the bat is the liquor.
Don, won't you let me in? I know you're there. Please open the door.
What's gonna crawl out of the keyhole, I wonder?
No, Helen, don't look. That hole in the wall right behind you.
There's no hole in the wall, Don.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
Yes.
There never was a mouse or a bat.
And you know what Nat said about the ending? Like this. Or like that.
Don!
Great. Running away again.
All right, Don, give me the pawn ticket.
I don't want you to go in there and claim it now. It look clear.
You're ashamed of what the pawnbroker will think. Is that it? It doesn't matter what I think.
Wicky got you back your coat.
That's why you took the coat.
I knew there was a core of something, a sponge. To soak it full, you'll do anything that's ruthless, selfish, dishonest.
I asked you not to make a scene.
You can get as drunk as you like for all I care.
Thank you.
How much did you give him?
He didn't want any money. He just wanted to swap it.
What?
A gun.
Oh. So he believes that nothing will be able to help him, so he wants to end it.
What is it, Helen? What's the matter?
Just that the rain is worse and I couldn't get a taxi. I thought perhaps I could borrow a coat under the circumstances.
Goodbye, Helen.
The last goodbye.
Do you know, Don, there was some whiskey left in the bottle after I cleaned up last night. Do you want a drink, Don?
No.
I'll get you some more. I'll get you all you want.
What kind of talk is that?
But I'd rather have you drunk than dead.
Give it to me.
Why?
Because it's best all around for everybody, for you, for Wick, and for me.
But that's not true. We love you, Wick.
All
and
right,
I.
then, for me. Selfish again. It's too late. I wouldn't know how to start.
The only way to start is to stop. Other people have stopped.
People with a purpose, with something to do. There's no more writing left in me. It's gone. What do you expect, a miracle? Who is it?
It's me, Mr. Bynum.
You know, when you had that accident, afterward I found this floating around on the Nile.
Someone somewhere sent it back. Why? Because he means you to stay alive. Because he wants you to write.
I'll be sitting there staring at that white sheet, scared.
No, you won't.
It's okay to be scared.
Nightmares, horrors, humiliations, all the things I want to forget.
Put it all down on paper. Get rid of it that way. Of course, you couldn't write the beginning because you didn't know the ending. Only now... Only now you know the ending.
It's a first step.
I'm going to put this whole weekend down, minute by minute.
Why not?
The way I stood in there, packing my suitcase. Only my mind wasn't on the suitcase.
It was on the bottle.
My mind was hanging outside the window. I wonder how many others there are like me, as they stagger blindly towards another binge, another bender, another spree.
Oh, that was a nice ending. How they reversed the shot from the intro. They used the exact same shot as the beginning of the movie to end the movie. There are many people just like Don Burnham out there, I'm sure, where the liquor, the alcohol, the beer, whatever it is, even cigarettes and smoking, that addiction, it's gotten a hold of them, like choking them in a death grip, just not wanting to let them go. All they need is that first step to just let go. Find a new purpose, find a new meaning. Just like Don said, he needs a purpose, he needs a meaning, something bigger than the addiction, something which is big enough, emotional enough that it will help them overcome this addiction. And of course, all of this is easier said than done. Some people need more supportive help from friends and family, and some people need more forceful help, like being tied up in a straitjacket. As for Don Burnham's case, I think part of the reason why he entered into this addiction in the first place is due to a midlife crisis. His talents, his ambitions, his aspirations never made it. And so he turns to the bottle because the bottle is something that allows him a release, a temporary escape from his life. To him, he thinks that drinking a bottle clears his mind, makes him have more ideas and stuff like that. But all that is just temporary. It's a temporary pick-me-up. And then the fall is going to be so much harder, so much more painful, so much deeper. It's like taking one step back and 3 steps backwards when you get into addiction. The one good thing about Don's addiction is that he's not the violent type. He doesn't get abusive or violent or hurt others when he's drunk. And he's aware that he has this problem. He just couldn't find a proper method to stop himself. This movie is very hard to watch because it's hard for me to watch Don ruin his own life, ruin his own health, to watch him just do all these things to himself, and he can't even help it. But he's so lucky to have such a wonderful, great brother. His brother, Wick Burnham, is just such a caring brother. He let him stays for free. He gives him allowance every week. He helps him. He did all of that full of patience and full of love for so many years. If Wick never cared about him, I'm sure that he would have gotten himself drunk. He would sleep on the streets and die on the streets. There are two things that I would like to find out. The first one is we see Don Burnham, or the actor who plays Don Burnham, drink so much alcohol. I mean, I don't even know if he really drank alcohol or he drank something else that looks like alcohol. So let's find out.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I couldn't find anything about whether he really drank alcohol during the movie, but I did find something else. The actor Ray Milland, to play his part as Burnham, he had to reduce to 160 pounds, skeletonizing his 6'2" frame. And he even managed to get himself admitted to New York's Bellevue Hospital, where he spent part of a night with some bums. I could not abide being in a company of people who were drunk. They made me tense and very nervous. I never knew what to say to them, he said later. So it's safe to say that Ray Milland was not an alcoholic, even though he played the part very well in the movie. He was the first Welsh actor to win an Oscar, and when he collected the award from Ingrid Bergman, he gave one of the shortest acceptance speeches of any Oscar winner. His performance in The Lost Weekend was so convincing, Milland was beleaguered for years by rumors that he actually was an alcoholic. He steadfastly asserted that he was not. This movie was actually based on the novel The Lost Weekend, and The Lost Weekend is Charles Jackson's first novel, which closely reflects the author's own experience of alcoholism, from which he was temporarily cured. This is saying that Charles Jackson, the author of The Lost Weekend, actually wrote a novel based on his own experience of alcoholism. So we could even say that Charles Jackson is Don Burnham, and he did end up writing this book. Very sadly, the author, Charles Jackson, died of barbiturate poisoning on September 21st, 1968. His death was ruled a suicide. At the time of his death, Jackson was working on a sequel to The Lost Weekend entitled Farther and Wider. He had relapsed into alcoholism during the months before his death and had become estranged from his family. Wow, that's another story of his own. Even the author himself experienced exactly what Don Burnham experienced. Or should I say, Don Burnham was the author's experience. Near the end of his life, he still relapsed into alcoholism. All this is sounding very negative right now, but believe me when I say that there are people who have defeated this addiction. There are people who have overcome it. They broke through and they stayed sober. I have seen plenty of stories, people who had a certain addiction, whether it was alcohol, smoking, drugs, or whatever, they overcame it and they have stayed sober for many, many years after that, and they lead perfectly content, happy lives. So if you're struggling with any sort of addiction at all, whether it's a serious addiction like drug addiction, or it's a minor, less serious addiction like gaming addiction or things like that, trust me when I tell you, it can be done. You can overcome it, and if you need help, never be afraid to seek help from the right people. And if there's no one close to you who's willing to help you with it, go seek a proper organization like Alcoholics Anonymous or equivalent to that for the different types of addiction. Do you have a friend or someone you know who suffers from this type of addiction? You're welcome to share a story, whether it's something you're going through right now, or perhaps it's a success story, something that you or someone you know have successfully overcome. As long as you feel safe sharing this story, then I'd love to read it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.